All right, everybody, buckle up, because this time on the deep dive, we're heading straight into the world of African tech.
And we're diving deep.
Yeah, no kidding. Forget your average app launch. This is about Texonnect, and let me tell you, it's a whole different ball game.
It's big, really making waves.
That's what caught our attention, right? We're talking research papers, articles, even insider accounts. We're not just skimming the surface here. We're going deep on this one.
Absolutely. And believe me, it's worth it.
Dr. Ohene Asante, welcome to the program. For our viewers here, Texonnect Voices is a part of Texonnect, the community which is focused on building or bringing together tech drivers in Africa who are looking to shape the ecosystem. And one of our fine gentlemen who is a part of this ecosystem is Dr. Ohene Asante, who is a practicing doctor and a tech enthusiast. And today we're engaging as part of our 32-part series in medical technology. We have identified 32 areas that are specific to what we consider the tech ecosystem, and medical technology is one of them. But today we've gotten a bonus. A bonus because this is the last part one of the current season 1. And also we have somebody who's well-versed not only in medical technology, but besides being a practicing doctor, he's also very well-versed in the fourth industrial revolution and is pushing strongly currently an ICT bill to see some sort of professionalism in the environment. So welcome, Dr. Ohene Asante.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dr. Ohene,
Yes, sir.
could you tell us about your journey into medicine and how you segued into technology and innovation healthcare?
All right, thank you so much, and very big thank you, and Merry Christmas to our cherished viewers. So, Papa, I trained as a physician. I trained as a medical doctor, and I later on got to specialize in pathology. But for medicine and technology, I think about a couple of years ago, I had an encounter with a gentleman called Jack Andrak. And it was when a delegation of Ghanaian engineers, doctors, scientists, let me say technocrats, put ourselves together and had a trip to Silicon Valley. You know, whenever we talk about technology, Silicon Valley has been a pioneering center. And with that global recognition, as a matter of fact, it's worth noting that if you want to start anything, you have to go back to the roots. So we met this gentleman as one of the hosts at the Stanford University. He came to do a presentation and all that in the integration of computer science, technology, software engineering into medicine. And as at the time, he has designed the world's most functional software for pancreatic cancer and other early cancer detection. So we had the opportunity to engage Jack Andrak, ask so many questions, had a lot of conversations with him. Then I realized that we can also do better, we can also do great things. So when I go back to the soil of Africa, immediately I go to Kotuka, getting to my hall at the university. I told myself that my colleague and the team in which I am, we are going to do great things. So we started with conversations and research with most of the top doctors on the continent. That is where I got to know one doctor in Nigeria who has also established a full-bridge digital pathology hospital. And so that is where the conversation started from. I think it's a very good experience because it has exposed me to a lot of things. South Africa, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, they are doing so much. And this is the time I believe we have to also show the world our intellectual prowess when it comes to utilizing the brain power of our people as far as computational technology is concerned and its application on medicine, healthcare delivery for the achievement of the universal health coverage and also the Marinishi Sustainable Development Goal in healthcare.
And speaking of showcasing intellectual prowess, you'll be pushing this ICT bill, which is supposed to regulate ICT professionals in the country. How is that going and what kind of impact that is?
So thank you. A little bit of brief about how that started. So in about 3 years ago, that is almost 2021. Yeah. So we had a conversation with the then minister, the Honorable Kwefri, who was a Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, and the outgoing Minister for Communication, was Louis Kifu. So the ministry was doing the National Science, Technology and Innovation Policy. So I sat on the Technical Review Board, and during that committee meeting, I realized that we need a lot of things to be in place. We need systems, we need structures, we need services, and we need strategies. So one of the things that I figured that we can do right now, which I all low-hanging fruits, is having a professional body, an institution that now is charged with the mandate for continuing professional development and lifelong learning to look at the practitioners in the technology industry. And I always make reference to the current government, which is leaving office right now, led by the president and his vice president, because we know in Ghana for the past close to 8 years now, the vice president have been consistent in blowing their horns on digitalization, technology, and all that. But if you take all these political controversies outside, that means there's something good in there that he was doing. So we realized we have to bridge a gap, which is taking care of the practitioners in the industry, and how we can also connect policy for these practitioners to be inside. Because every government, for instance, is coming from the medical perspective. We have a national healthcare policy, which is under the custody of the Ministry of Health. And the minister must get connected to the medical doctors, the nurses, the public health practitioners, and occupational health and safety, what we call the allied health or the auxiliary health practice professions. And so if these people are taken care of, that is when the goals and aspirations in the national health policy will be achieved. So it comes to the Medical and Dental Council, it comes to the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons, the Ghana Medical Association, then you go to the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives, goes to the Nursing and Midwifery Council, and the Ghana Association for Registered Nurses and Midwives. Then it goes to the pharmacists. So there is Ghana College of Pharmacists, there is the Pharmacy Council of Ghana, then there is also the Pharmaceutical Association of Ghana. There is also the physician assistants, the anesthetists. So you see, we have a very broad sector, but the policy must make room for these people from the very day you graduated from the university with your Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, and the very day you get licensed by the Medical and Dental Council. This law must take care of you, the quality of your practice, the ethical consideration, the discipline, and how we can ensure public safety. And so this is the same as doing in the IT profession. Just bringing a bit of the humanity aspect of it is if you graduate from, if you study a program like accountancy, or that the UPSA, University of Ghana Business School, whichever, you ought to become a chartered accountant, you must be licensed by the Institute of Chartered Accountants Act. And without that, you cannot hold yourself as a professional accountant or even practice the profession of accountancy. By far, it is protecting the profession for people who are duly qualified and trained with the necessary capacity to administer when they are left autonomous on the field, and the same as taxation and post. So these are the things that we need to look at when we talk about technology, innovation, and also in a digital evolution. The people, the software engineer, the cybersecurity professional, the coding professional, the programmer, most of the back-end engineers that we don't see them, we have to take care of them. We need to get them updated, stay up to trends, and also be able to know what is going to happen in the future. And all these things are functions that was going to be entrusted to that body to administer as it is enshrined in the bill. So when the bill successfully get passed by Parliament and also obtains presidential assent. So
What are the most exciting trends in medical technology that are transforming healthcare today?
that's so interesting. That's one of my interesting areas that I always look at. For the past 10 years, it's been my daily cup of tea. For instance, in clinical care, one of the most important aspects in clinical factors is patient history, patient records. So several softwares that are coming looking at clinical informatics, health records and information management. These are going to make healthcare delivery very accurate, timely, and quality. And it's also going to help us achieve the universal health coverage, which is talking about affordable and
I keep talking about this universal health coverage. Can you give us a bit of a summary of it? And then
So the universal health coverage is the global agenda 2030, looking at this is from the United Nations, so set by the United Nations, which is looking at least by the end of the year 2030, every person on this earth, the 8.7 billion people on this planet, must be able to afford healthcare, the highest quality of healthcare at a very minimal amount or after a very minimal cost. So that is what the universal health coverage is all about. And it's also now enforced in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal on healthcare. So the universal health coverage, or shortened as the UHC 2030. So, Papa, like I was saying, the other part is also that now we have computational intelligence technology like AI. So AI for precision medicine, AI for diagnostic technology, AI for theater practice and monitoring. These are exciting technologies that is going to be a game changer for the healthcare delivery sector in Africa. And I believe that it is a time where stakeholders of society, we must bring ourselves together and champion and also achieve the highest objective for our people.
So we need to take responsibility for all this. Thank you. Okay. Are these your new trends?
There are a lot. In fact, if I'm going detailed, maybe not even leave it to ring. But for instance, one of the things is going to be biotechnology and nanotechnology. So we are going to talk about now there are already wearable technology.
You're basically saying the nanotechnology is no longer a thing in movies, but it's in real life.
It's reality.
Okay.
Now I'm sure we've heard about Ectoline, which is going to look at a baby factory where they are going to produce children. So parents or women who, one way or the other, on some technical reasons, may not be able to bear a child for 9 months. We are going to have all these things, but they are rooted in the technologies of nanosciences, biomedical engineering, and all that softwares that are rising to make theater practice, the ward, the laboratory, and also emergency, every aspect of the hospital very sustainable, very accurate, and efficient in delivering sustainable healthcare for the people.
And is this considered ethical?
There are medical legal issues around the discovering and production of these technologies. So I'm sure international bodies, ISO, International Electrotechnical Commission, and also national bodies like the Foods and Drugs Administration of the United States, Food and Drugs Authority of Ghana, because, for instance, around the world, US has become like a benchmark. So if you have a technology that is patented in the US, it is known or perceived to be a global standard with that recognition and prestige. There are quite a number of issues that we would have to look at. But I believe when governments around the world have a convention on how we can deploy these technologies, it will make healthcare very sustainable and efficient in terms of it being big.
So we need the integration of all the bodies around the world.
Exactly.
How you feel that artificial intelligence and machine learning are doing in terms of reshaping the diagnosis and treatment of disease?
Let me sit well. Artificial intelligence, it's a game changer. It's a new world on its own. AI is actually going to transform the world, and is already transforming the world. Maybe going to transform the world in the sense that what we've not seen before. It is an unprecedented technology. For instance, when you talk about repetition and economics, so the quality of work speaks, the quality, aesthetic quality in the theater, combination of various technologies, equipment, and all that. Artificial intelligence can precise it for us, give us the highest level of precision and quality. Artificial intelligence, in other sense, is also going to help in prescriptive medicine, giving us sort of leverage and guidance on how physicians and doctors are going to be able to prescribe medicine at the level where we don't have to do try and error. It is not to say there are try and error cases, but we've had several cases in the legal perspectives charged of medical negligence, and AI can also be used or eradicate that for us.
Mitigate the risks.
Exactly. AI, not directly in medicine, but the affiliate healthcare branches like medicine is going to help in drug discovery. AI is going to help us to be able to have cure for some of the world's deadly diseases, and it's going to help us on front, so giving us a real-time front on patient monitoring. So wearable technologies where softwares are installed on iWatches and all that, and it's going to get people at the control room front on someone's heartbeats, someone's temperature, someone's a whole lot of things in the healthcare sector. I believe that as a hospital, management of these secondary, tertiary, and quaternary hospital, for instance, then we have the Bank of Ghana Hospital, the University of Ghana Medical Center now is presented as the finest quaternary hospital in health the country. Management of departments and the entire hospital governing board must come together to look at technologies that we need to invest in under the revolution, and how we can particularly deploy AI in every aspect of healthcare delivery as far as hospitals and health facilities are concerned.
Well, that's a lot of trust for AI. But let's segue back to something you mentioned earlier about wearable technology, remote monitoring devices.
Okay.
Are they changing patient care?
I think most of these technologies are made for good, because they will have their backside, and they can also be inefficient as another loopholes. iWatch, a very clear and also understandable case was this man. I think he came to CNN. This man who was driving and had a very gastric motor accident, and the watch will select the programmed contacts as an emergency number, called the son. They came, they tracked the location on the iWatch, came to pick the patient, took him to the hospital, and in less than 72 hours, doctors were so fast and smart to be able to help him. The man responded to treatment actively, and as I'm talking to you now, he's back to life, like helping. And so this story tells you the impact of these technologies, how they are meant to help human lives better. Basically, technology is here to help humanity, but the side of it that makes us sad is when we are not able to manage it well, we are not able to govern it well, and also apply it, and also do the right data. Exactly. When we are not able to get the right raw material to input in the technologies to give us the best outputs. We were mentioning iWatches, we mentioned skin monitoring, electronic chips, and all that. These are technologies that are really going to make the world better. And for Africans, look, in terms of extending our lifespan, in terms of redirecting the way we even manage our old people, so geriatric care, if these softwares and these technologies are installed on certain devices, it's not all the time that we may need nannies and home care nurses and all that. It will disrupt the police jobs, but at the end of the day,
Create opportunities for
it's start of it towards exactly, and also ensure the highest form of quality in your delivery.
Tristan, let's talking about replacing jobs. Let's talk about robots. And yesterday we watched the movie I, Robot. It was really interesting. Lex, do you see robots beginning to do theater operations, surgery, things like that in the future?
Yeah, they are. They are. In fact, at the Museum of the Future in the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, we had an exhibition like that where they are piloting a couple of projects around. In China too, we've had researchers now doing deep high level R&D on robotics implementation in the theater. It will get there one day. In India, it have already started, but it has not gotten to real clinical practice. It will get to a point in time where we might not necessarily need specialist surgery in oncology and cancer treatment. We might not need a nephrologist in terms of kidney management and all that. But we will need robots to perform certain clinical functions. Specifically,
Especially when it's for very surgical procedures.
exactly for certain delicate aspect and practice in the theater. For surgery, it is there. These technologies are there, but they are not really rampant on their use. So I think what we can do, if I'm being given the opportunity to become the Secretary General of the United Nations and as the Director General of ISO or the head of World Health Organization, maybe as the President of Ghana or the Chairman of the African Union, what I'm going to do is to spend and also invest huge sums of money to R&D about technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, and automation, because these three parts of the fourth industrial revolution will always work together. Then we look at the raw material, which is going to be the most expensive form of fuel, and any kind of gold, which is data. Invest in these areas and look at the best ways that we can deploy them, because every technology, every scientific discovery, and every innovation is made to bring new ways for making human lives better. And these are my core beliefs that I really am convicted about, that if I should be the president today, I'm really gonna take huge decisions, transformational one as one, and look at how we can use technology in that aspect to change human lives.
Dear viewers, you hear the man's pitch. Maybe in the future you'll be voting for him to become president or secretary general. So look out for that. You spoke about the fourth industrial revolution. What opportunities does it present for healthcare and pharmaceutical?
I think Africans we are at a point where we should consider ourselves the most opportune or fortunate continent ever. Because if you look at statistics, we have the youngest continent. You have the continent with a large number of young races or young populations. The youngest African, the median age for the youngest African is 17. The next is 25. So it's telling you how vibrant, energetic we are. And this is where we have to tap into the opportunities presented by the fourth industrial revolution. The last time I was giving a talk somewhere, and I was telling them that, look, the first three industrial revolutions, we didn't have the opportunity to take decisions for ourselves, implement and invest in the revolution. For instance, in the first industrial revolution, which was the 1700s, was when Europeans and Western power were coming to our continent, and we were now being sent to colonization. The second industrial revolution, the age of electricity and mass production, was also when we were really in the middle of the colonization. So you talk of the discovery of electricity, Nikola Tesla, Michael Faraday, and now talking about even in the books, our story of the bond of 1844. That was really the point where the world was transforming from animal power to electrical power and mass production. Fast forward, we came to the 19th century. To the middle of the 19th century was the third industrial revolution, talking about computers, electronics, and mass electrical machinery. And we weren't also part, because we were now getting out of colonization. The first time a black person became prime minister was Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, 1951, 1952, 1957, 1961. He became a president who actually wanted to invest. According to history, Osadefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah wanted to make certain part of Accra the scientific and industrial metropolis for Africa. So his idea was to set up the CSIR, then the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, and where he even plays the University of Ghana. All these revolutions, we were in parts because we didn't have the political decisions of governance. Now we are in the fourth industrial revolution, right? The capacity. Now we are in the fourth industrial revolution where we have the opportunity to advance. The president can declare, the president can use the executive instrument to do so many things. So that is where we can do a lot of things. And that is where I think we have to invest. The technologies of artificial intelligence, robotics, automation, 3D, 4D, 5D, 7D, and even getting to nanotechnology and advanced industrial biomedical engineering. These are the opportunities in the fourth industrial revolution. We just have to make policies. We just have to get plans and also have legislations in place. The last three things I'll touch on, we need investment. We need to invest, so that is finance and investment for technologies in the evolution. We need infrastructure. And the last thing is going to be our brain power, so human capital, both our skills, knowledge, expertise, so that Africa will take over the future. We will now own the future. And I believe that Africa's solution is what the world is looking for. So the revolution will make us leapfrog and take the lead.
Yeah, I think it's very important, and that's one of the things that Texonnect stands for, using African solutions to create solutions based on Africa's needs. And we believe that at the end of the day, when those solutions are created that fix Africa's needs, they're actually going to be a greater solution there for the rest of the world. And it's going to help Africa leapfrog as opposed to continue to be reactive and just follow through. Interesting. So let's quickly go on and talk about the ICT bill. Can you break down the pillars of the ICT bill for us?
Yeah, so about the ICT bill, or the ICT professions legislation, looks at three major things, only three. And if we're able to do these three things, Ghana will make history. Because we have to understand that, well, we will have to compete, but we may not be able to compete with certain countries based on good muscles. We look at Nigeria. Nigeria has a population of about 270 million. Ethiopia is about 127 million. Congo is about over 100 million. Egypt over 100. Kenya is over 60 million. And this means that Ghana, as we speak today, with our population of 35 million and our land size, may not be able to compete in terms of population and consumption, but we'll be able to compete with our brain power, our intellect, our innovation, and what comes out from our country and goes to the world. For instance, Switzerland, a very small population, but by the end of 2024 this year, according to the United Nations World Intellectual Property Organization, Switzerland leads the world innovation ranking as the country number one. Yeah. And taking another smaller population like Singapore is now headquarters to most of the global technology companies. And if you're the UN,
I think they're doing some really good work in fintech.
And so I can,
if those who are listening, at 6 p.m. we'll be connecting with the fintech go.
So the legislation looks at professional development, science, technology, innovations, and the legal advancement. Then the last one looks at building a knowledge-based economy. We believe that if practitioners, technocrats, and engineers are professional, we are assured of the highest form of research, because now technology implementation now becomes responsible. So we look at brain, building responsible AI nation. We look at technology deployment at the various aspects of the country. When your practitioner have this mental awareness, consciousness, and we are really taking charge of how ethical we will deploy them, I think our people will escape a lot of the dangers. The second part is looking at where we can charge that body with a mandate to train the best research outside, and also impactful development activities, how we can be partners for national development, and socio-economic transformation. And the last of it is to serve as a think tank to government, where we'll be able to speak truth to power as a professional body. And the last one, where we are looking at building a knowledge-based economy, which is hinged on quality research, where we can invest. I always talk about this in the sense that Africans are not done. Africans are the best, they are the smartest ego you can find in this world. But we lack infrastructure. One of our biggest problems is infrastructure. If you go to northern Ghana, trust me, the things that you find are very disheartening, because these are the communities that actually produce the best raw material for our industrialization. But we lack infrastructure. How can the IT students now come up with a software that you can just get a slice of yam, put it on the microscope, you'll be able to detect that this passed a chemical compound that can now be used to kill this kind of disease on land. And so, as a professional body, which we are pushing it to be established under legislation, we are really expecting that it will make a lot of impact to the country, and not just as a general institution. For instance, a lot of the contributions of the professional body, when the e-levy was under discussion as a policy, the policy document, they called most of the professional bodies in the country. So they called the Institute of Chartered Accountant, because it is an economic policy and there is a financial aspect of it. They call the Chartered Institute of Taxation, because the e-levy itself is a tax policy. They call the Chartered Institute of Chartered Economists Ghana, and IT practitioners were not consulted. There is no body that's unified there as an umbrella body. So if you look at it, it would clearly tell you there is a gap and you need to fill that gap. Bridging it means that an institution that should be mandated, an institution that should hold the fort to speak on behalf of these practitioners. That is what the body is expected to.
Let's jump back into medical technology, and specifically, let's talk about medical professionals. How do we keep them staying relevant in this fast evolving technological landscape? You got the right idea. How do we make sure they all do?
Okay, so Puma, I believe that everybody must play a role in society. Everybody must play a role in making this world a better place. And so it is for we as professionals. I'm speaking from the medical sector and also the healthcare professional. I think, first of all, institutions must work. The states must take leadership. And society and culture must now adopt. Why am I saying that? The government of Ghana must take leadership in investing in all aspects of their practice. If it is the hospital, we need to invest in technologies. If it comes to training, the University of Ghana Medical School, the Care University Medical School, the UCC Medical School, the UDS Medical School, University of Health and Allied Sciences, now private universities like the Accra College of Medicine, the Family Health University Medical School at Hope, then allied health training programs like medical laboratory science and all that. We have to incorporate technology-centered education as part of it, because what you call medical laboratory science one day will be taken by a robot. What you call hormonal assay analysis might be taken by AI, which is operating a microscope or something. And so we need to invest and let them know what is awaiting them after earning your Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, earning your Doctor of Medical Laboratory Science, or earning your Bachelor of Public Health Nursing. And the next thing is to look at the state level, what must we do? What must we do in the sense that when it comes to resources, when it comes to the materials, how do we have to deploy the efficient use? Then the final one has got to do with infrastructure and capacity building. We need big laboratories, we need big research centers, we need high level and world-class R&D centers where we can innovate, we can research, so that these doctors will be able to learn. Because I did a graduate program administered by the Gulf Medical University in Abu Dhabi, which was in partnership with the Montpellier University in France. And it is talking about artificial intelligence and precision medicine. It was 2 years program. It really exposed me to the world of computational medicine and artificial intelligence. The Boston Medical Group are also doing a lot in Massachusetts. The John Hopkins medical institutions are doing so much. And so I think University of Ghana Medical School, the Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research, and other research centers around the country must be equipped and resourced. So we can have doctors whether at the level 600 and then level 500 or even at the postgraduate medical college, at the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons and other platforms, they can go there and get themselves acquainted. They may not have to start it, but you got a point in time, learn on the job, build continuing professional development credits so that it will let them remain updated and intelligent on their practice.
Medical professionals out there, I hope you're listening and I hope you're paying attention. What are potential breakthroughs in medical technology that excite you? And especially with the next decade.
Papa, let me give it. There are a lot. In fact, I'm so passionate about this topic that if I'm not careful, I'll be taken away and I'll be speaking so much that and you even linger. But let me give you 3. 1, drug discovery. We need quality resources. We need quality drugs. We need quality materials to treat patients in Africa. And if you look at the statistics from the Food and Drugs Authority and the customs, it will tell you how much we import into this country in terms of medical devices and in terms of drugs, in terms of hospital consumer. So there are a lot of softwares and technologies that can make us discover the best drugs, the highest quality and well standard to serve our people. Because the last time I was reviewing an intellectual property document from India, and guess what? Indians have been importing neem tree from Africa. They've been able to come up with over 25 different pharmaceutical products from just a neem tree. Just neem tree. We've not come to other ones. So when it comes to computational technology application on healthcare, and also the trends about how these technologies will advance medical care. One of them I'll mention is bioinformatics. Bioinformatics is really going to change the game and is going to help us get precision at the laboratory. Not technology. The smaller the object, the more functional and the more speed it becomes of us start doing come. So we have to look at nanotechnologies, how we can embed high and multifunctional task activities on smaller chips, on smaller devices, on smaller boards that are going to really make our healthcare practice very, very efficient and also effective.
And get us access to places that we require use to.
And we must strategically also look at 3D print because it is going to enhance artificial way of getting biological organs. We are going to be relieved of the problem, the hassles and tussles of replacing human organs when we are facing, for instance, one of my practice as a nephrologist when I was doing my clerkship is when we have to change the kidney. And a family of 5 people, no one matches the one who gets. So we didn't get.
And why should somebody even have to do on their kidney? Because I believe God in his ultimate wisdom gave us 2 kidneys.
As an omniscient, God knew the reason why you need 2 kidneys, exactly. Why you need 2 lungs, exactly. I need 2 ears. So that everything has a reason. And the worst of it is we buying a ticket from someone from the States to come down to Kolemu to come and do a donation. And that was the very day I realized that technology is really meant to benefit the lives on this earth. Yes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And even beyond, morbid situations like having to take out a kidney or replace a kidney. I remember the last episode and I were in a conference where somebody talked about now you have these digital condoms, right? Which can measure and monitor when I perform and what the issues could be. And then it's all about.
You have one happening right now. The last time, if I had the movie review, we were talking about flu. and Flow is trimestral cycle monitoring software, which is built on an AI data-powered platform. So these trends are actually going to add value to delivery of healthcare, but sometimes we seem not to recognize their impact and benefits. And I will keep on mentioning and say maybe one day divinity can orchestrate for me to be there when I ever have the opportunity to be a minister of health or maybe a minister of science and technology, maybe to become the president of this country. I believe that we have the greatest minds in this country already. And we have those in our resistance of elsewhere in terms of opportunities in the revolution, investment. It was academic city led by Professor Ferdinand Baganduri, as well the finest engineers on the continent. He has over 10 United States patented intellectual properties. And Academic City now has a bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering or industrial engineering. They are the first university on the continent of Africa to have an academically accredited 4-year degree for artificial intelligence. That is so great. Also, we have to create these great minds to use, set up laboratories. If I ever happen to lead to the Ministry of Science and Technology, CSR is there. We need to revamp it, revive the structures, and put these scientists and engineers in there into the laboratory to think, innovate, and engineer for the country.
I hope President Mahama is watching. It seems like a man ready to do a lot for the country. So before we move on, if any of our listeners have questions that they want to put up to Dr. Ohene, or you have any comments, please go ahead and put it on the chat page or raise your hands if you're at the Zoom, and we'll try to address them as soon as possible. As we move on, last but one question. How can we ensure that advancements in medical technology are inclusive and benefit everyone, regardless of location or adopted status?
Fuck. This really touches now because I have a little brother who is now using a prosthetic arm, and his right hand, he had an accident, so for the past 4 to 5 years, his right hand has not been working. I think technology must include everybody in society. We must have special policies to deal with special people. We all know the same. Look at now, this Spengers, we all know the same. So we need to have specific things that will deal with specific situations. And so I'll come back to policy and legislation. So whatever system you are designing, whatever technology you are innovating, that technology must include the persons living with disability. It must include special child. And this is where I make a clear call to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, that the old ways that we have operated with should now be changed. We must change these things because you go to entities like the Department of Children, Department for the PWDs, and there are no provisions or either law or lex, because I believe exactly these things are consistent with mainstream government policy. Before you even import anything, any device, any software, any technology into the country to make sure inclusion, I am really sure that the necessary authority or agency comes and checks it. And after being checked, we'll be able to determine we need this, we don't need this. You need to be socially responsible and you need to be inclusively responsible. Inclusivity is the very premises on which we bring everybody under the global umbrella and to also enjoy national cake. And so this conversation we are having should really be taken serious. Policymakers must incorporate it. And my last submission is when we feel that certain things are options. Look, we have to understand that some things do not have alternatives.
Yeah.
They are the very one we have. Oh. We must not trade them off, and they are not even tradable. That is my take on that one.
So last question for you, Dr. Ohene, before we round up. If you could implement one major change in the healthcare system using technology today, what would it be and why?
Opa, there are quite a lot, but I've always been passionate about education. Right. Education reached the poverty side.
I'm sure the EdTech people will be excited about that.
Education actually makes things happen. We have a deficit of doctors. In fact, if you need 3,000 doctors, it's own a bit.
It's available in here, so the doctors are running away. So what do we do?
I think that there must be ban on certain number of doctors that can go out of the country, and also leadership must invest. You need to build big hospitals.
Tell me where you go to more. Now you just scared them by saying it should be apart.
We need to build more hospitals so that doctors will work in. Why? Because if you train a nurse, you train a lab technician, you train a doctor, and there is no hospital for the person to work in, trust me. I mean, you've
Literally so much that we can hear.
So we have to invest in that, and we have to invest in the quality of education being delivered. That's what I was talking about. We need to care about what goes inside education, because that determines the kind of medical doctors really can. So if you don't have education that centers on people, education that centers on
People-centered education.
people-centered education, and also knowing that you owe your patients the duty of care. And all these conversations will be like water being poured on stone.
Very good stuff. Thank you very much, Dr. Ohene, for this engagement with a wealth of knowledge. I can already see people asking for a part 2, and we'll probably consider that in the season 2 next year. We didn't have any questions so far. I'm sure later questions will forward. I hope that we could approach you to get answers for them. We've been on Texonnect Voices. For those of you who don't know us, Texonnect Voices are the product of the Texonnect community, which is driven to bring together decision makers in tech to drive technology the way it should be, to put an African face on technology, and to get us to leapfrog into the future by applying, by being responsible, by being socially conscious, and by engaging with technology as it grows and help us to build a better future for all. Thank you so much.